Nitro. Let me begin.
All right.
When this show opened, Tony Schiavone said, "Welcome, fans, to WCW Monday Nitro. Tonight, scheduled for 2 hours, maybe more." I was like, you motherfuckers. This show went 3 hours again.
Yeah.
Can we stop? I know it's a rhetorical question. They're going 3 hours permanently in a month now. God, 2 months.
So first they announced that Sting and Hulk Hogan had signed their contract and would meet in December. They plugged what they claimed were super high ratings for Assault on Devil's Island, and then we got clips of this masterpiece.
Okay, first off, it did do great ratings.
All right.
And what was that TV series we were talking about last week? Shadow Warriors or something?
What? Over my head. I've already forgotten.
When we were looking at Assault on Devil's Island, we were Googling it.
All right, sure.
Anyway, I think they actually did do a spin-off television show because this one did so well. Now, Tony Schiavone says, and this is a quote, "rated one of the top 4 cable movies of all time." That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
This looked like the worst movie in the history of the planet Earth. Am I wrong?
I have seen at least 3 WWE-produced films, one of which starred The Miz. All of them blew this out of the water.
Dude, guaranteed The Miz.
That was Shannon Tweed, right? The girl.
I didn't look it up. That's a safe guess.
That's Gene Simmons' wife.
Yeah. There was a hot blonde shooting 2 machine guns that had mysteriously 0 kickback of any kind whatsoever. This is not a realistic gunfight they had.
Dude, this acting was so absolutely horrible. And then...
You're right.
They go to the press conference.
I'm not done talking about the movie yet.
Well, let me just ask my question before you bury the movie more.
Okay.
Was the acting in the movie or the press conference worse?
Oh, the movie for sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm quite certain it was the movie.
Hogan awkwardly saying, "Look at him. He's scared, brother." During the press conference?
Yeah.
Come on.
But while we have buried the acting in the film, we have, and by the way, this is like a 20-second clip. We have buried the gunfight. Let's not overlook whoever wrote this dialogue. "Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Never mind. Let's grab what's his name and get out of here." What?
Vinny, you gotta watch the movie, dude.
No, I don't. Don't even start. Don't even start.
There's no way we'd find it.
Are you kidding me?
So, they go to the press conference. Sting is late. Yes. Hogan acts badly and awkwardly. This is definitely live TV.
It was so bad.
My favorite part was there's the whole press conference setup. Hogan speaking at the podium. There's mics there. And they got WCW officials. There's J.J. Dillon. Bischoff was there. 2 or 3 other guys. And a guy at the end who I can only assume was from the MGM Grand. Sting walks in and makes his big dramatic entrance. Hogan freezes. Everyone else vacates the area except what's his name at the end, who just sits there. And Sting has to walk in, and he has to keep an eye on Hogan while also not tripping over the steps and the cables and everything else going on. He has to walk over this guy who is still taking a seat, still in a seat. He has to carry the bat up and over around the man's head. All of this, and the payoff is he signs the contract without looking. He must then go backwards and do the same thing. Thankfully, they yank the goober out of the way, and Sting leaves, and that is it.
So it does look like Hogan never did a television series, so maybe somebody else got to do it, but Assault on Devil's Island was followed in 98 by 3 Ninjas High Noon at Mega Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
Hogan was always involved in islands and mountains.
Bays.
Assault on Death Mountain in 1999.
Isn't he a babysitter too or something?
Paradise, Thunder in Paradise. He was on an episode of Baywatch, but he didn't have his own show. The opening match on Nitro was a tag team encounter pitting Eddie Guerrero and Dean Malenko versus Rey Mysterio Jr. and Steven Regal. The weirdest and greatest team I ever saw.
Parejas Increíbles match.
Never been more true. Regal and Mysterio.
This is like the Battle Bowl where they actually pulled names.
You know what was disappointing about it, though?
Nothing.
No, there was something.
All right.
Eddie and Regal was not as good as I expected it to be. There was, in fact, a little bit of a styles clash. Other than that, it was great.
It was
to the point that Regal decided at some point I'm going to do a running high cross
yeah.
because it's a lucha match.
Eddie is such a heat magnet. He just stands on the apron and is hated.
Oh yeah.
He didn't do a thing, and they're chanting Eddie sucks.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Eddie in this show and Rocky in this show were the guys who could massive heel heat for doing literally nothing. So I will say Regal here was starting to get a little flabby. Had a singlet, needed a bigger singlet. His wrestling was still great. They were trying to push this as saying this is the kind of crazy matchup you'll see in World War III.
This might be coming. At least we'll get to see matches like this.
I guess so.
When World War III comes.
So they had a short, great match. Ray kicked Regal on accident. Eddie powerbombed Ray, but Malenko tagged himself in and tapped out Ray with a cloverleaf. So Eddie and Dean were not getting along. And then Regal actually checked on Ray, and I was certain was going to put the boots to him, but no. He just he was half-hearted about it.
Well, it was his partner.
It was his partner.
He is a lord.
He is.
He is a man with...
Manners.
Yeah.
Yeah. Etiquette.
He is a man with etiquette.
He's a proper gentleman.
Dave Taylor versus Fit Finley.
Not as good as last week.
That was quick.
We had Raven and his crew interrupting the match with their entrance a minute in.
At least they weren't in a tree this week.
They're not in a tree.
That's a positive.
Dave Taylor.
It's so stupid. You weren't here for this.
Yeah, he climbed a tree in his wrestling boots
Yeah.
and knee pads.
It was his safe haven.
Yeah.
It was Raven's safe place.
Well,
a fucking tree.
He's a bird.
Yeah, his name's Raven.
Got a nest up there.
Makes sense.
He didn't have a nest. He was just sitting there.
Well, he hadn't started it yet.
Well, where in the world are you going to yell Nevermore from?
Anywhere.
We've seen that, actually, yes. All I got to say about this match is at one point, Dave Taylor did a press slam, which has to be the skinniest arms I've ever seen on a guy doing a press slam. And then Finley started waving his hands in the air to indicate he was not helping with his press slam. This looked like Hong Kong wire work or Hollywood CGI. I couldn't believe my eyes. And then like a second later, Finley hit a tombstone and won. Public Enemy did an inset promo running down these Steiners.
They said it's table time.
Yeah.
Made me hungry for taco time.
Ooh, good call.
I'm a big fan.
The announcers plugged Ric
Dude,
Flair.
I'm going to do did I tell you I'm going to do a taco time newsletter?
Huh?
Yeah. I was at Taco Time the other day, and there's nobody at the front counter.
Uh-huh.
But there's a bunch of papers laid there.
Sure.
And I'm looking at them, and the papers are like,
Taco leaks.
from this point forward, 1 scoop less chicken in the soft taco.
Ooh.
And make sure you tell customers that the prices may be going up to ensure quality.
Wow. Scoop.
I'm like, man, I was a scoop.
Yeah.
And I thought I could do
Actually,
a
I took a scoop
newsletter.
away.
I have breaking news right here. Taco Time raising prices, cutting how much food is in the soft taco.
They better not screw with that crisp burrito. I'll tell you that.
You ever had the nachos at Taco Time?
No.
I've been to Taco Time for almost 35 years or more. Never had the nachos until like a month ago. They're tremendous.
There's a Taco
They're so
Time
great.
in Seaside, Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And I went there, and the tater tots, the Mexi fries, are
Right.
different.
How so?
They're just different.
Made with sea salt?
Nah, they're just different. They're like the tater tots you'd get anywhere else.
Sean was telling me
Very
on his-
disappointed.
when he moved back home on his cross-country drive, he found at least one Taco Time that was like a rip-off Taco Time. I think what actually happened was they expanded and it failed and they sold them off. But there are Taco Times out there that are not as good as the Taco Times we know.
Well, that's the one I went to.
You know
so.
that 3/4 of this country is going, Taco Time?
Listen, everyone, if you've
Well, they
never
can
been to the
start their own
Northwest,
goddamn show then. They'll know when they come to the Northwest to go to Taco Time.
hop on a plane, come to Seattle, go to Taco Time, get anything, and go home.
Get the crisp beef burrito.
That's the most unique thing.
Yeah, I don't have them a lot, but they're very good.
And if you're coming from the California area, grab some In-N-Out and we'll do an exchange.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Or Whataburger, also, we will accept.
Fine.
Yeah. Where the hell were we?
Don't
Bischoff on the phone being a troll.
That's right. They were plugging Flair and Hennig when Bischoff called in to troll them.
Hey, if you guys have been listening to this show and you want to know what Vinny looks like when I go off on a rant, watch this show and Tony Schiavone's response to Eric Bischoff trolling everybody.
It's true.
It is true.
I hadn't thought about that.
It's absolutely true.
Do I go on rants often?
No, when I do.
Yeah, when
you
Vinny
do
does.
it.
I see. Okay,
Put
yeah.
your head down and you go like this with your head.
Yeah.
That I see.
Good radio, Brian.
Yeah.
He
If there had
buries,
been a mic, he would have headbutted
he
it.
buries his face in his hands and holds his temples.
Yeah, that happens. That is a fact. Anyway, Bischoff, what the hell did he do? First, he claimed Hogan was not scared of Sting and had challenged him many times. He insulted Roddy Piper, said he may have suffered nerve damage in the last NWO attack, but he buried him and said he had brain damage going in, so who cares? Bragged about Hogan's movie.
Don't think you can get away with that nowadays.
No. Took shots at Vince McMahon and the USA Network for their Best of Survivor Series special. That was a failure, he noted. It's just an epic fail. He promised the whole NWO would be there next week, including the big man.
It goes the big man, and then he doesn't say who the big man is. And I'm like, Hulk Hogan.
I assumed Hogan.
And then Tony Schiavone's like, by the big man, I presume you mean Kevin Nash. And Eric's like, yeah, Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
And I was like, he forgot his name.
He may have joined Scott Hall on the I'm not sure this guy's sober, but he's performing list. And none of this, by the way, is piped in over the house. So this is 5 minutes of silence for the
Yes.
for the Philadelphia fans.
And they started chanting boring.
Philadelphia fans in all sporting events known for their patience and well-behaved etiquette. Yuji Nagata versus Psychosis.
Oh my God.
Not boring, but for different reasons.
Psychosis nearly kills himself with a flip dive over the post to the floor.
Yeah,
Falls right in his ass.
yeah,
Then he does a running leg drop off the apron, falls right in his ass.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing, dude?
He was trying to die.
Protect your ass.
Well, he did. And he went up top for a run and fell on his head.
Still working.
Still around.
Still alive.
It is amazing.
I was screaming watching this.
Maybe I was wrong about Sasha.
So finally, Sonny Ono, while arguing with the ref, kicked Psychosis in the head. And Yuji hit the Nagata lock for the win. Sonny Ono gave Psychosis 100 pesos in severance pay. Raven cut a promo
Oh, jeez.
about how much 6th grade sucked and how cruel children could be.
Dude, this is an immediate fast forward for me now. I see it on SmackDown every week. I don't need to see it on Nitro.
Who'd we on SmackDown?
Bray!
Ow. Yeah.
At
All I
least
know
he's
is
not in a tree. He took the tree and he made a rocking chair.
Ah.
That's basically what happened.
Well, he went from the tree to
cut down the tree.
Yeah.
he went from the tree to the schoolhouse this time.
Probably had Rowan cut down the tree, to be honest.
All I know is I could have written the line about closing my eyes and pretending to be someone different, and that wasn't a misfit.
This again.
Yeah.
Every week.
Every week, hey,
Give me a break, Vinny. Come on.
It connects with me. And he said, now the part I did not connect with him when he said, nothing behaved as consistently as a human being bent on destruction. But the message was his childhood sucked, and so he's going to beat people up. Again, it's 10% more coherent than Bray Wyatt's promos, but that 10% makes a big difference.
You should hear some of Vinny and I's conversations on the way home
Ugh,
about Vinny's childhood.
dude.
It's,
I can only imagine.
I should hit record sometime. It's
No.
sad, but almost humorous.
Sure. That is the story of my life. Yeah. Disco Inferno versus Saturn for the TV title.
This went on for a million years.
You know what's funny is
I think I could have
Saturn,
gone to the actual planet of Saturn and back before this
Right.
match ended.
the first thing I noticed was, dude, this Saturn can hit the ropes.
Sure.
Then, I'm like, this Saturn can throw a fucking cool suplex.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then, I'm like, this Saturn's doing some cool judo.
And he's in really good shape.
And then,
Yes.
I'm like, it's still going.
Right.
And it went about 25 minutes of him beating on Disco Inferno forever.
6:37 to be exact.
Fans chanted ECW, which, by the way, we got boring chants twice and a chant about everything but what's going on in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So 19 years later, nothing has changed.
That's true.
And then he won.
he hit a Disco got a comeback here and there after about 40 minutes. But then Saturn hit about five moves in a row and put him in the rings of Saturn and won. The most decisive championship win in all of 1997.
You know, there's a way to do a showcase match, and they do it all the time with Goldberg,
It's not with Disco.
and it's not this. Just go quicker.
This was 3 showcase matches in a row.
He literally did all of his moves.
He did. He got all of his shit in. He got his shit in, my shit in, your shit. All shit was in this match. So Saturn wins the TV title in his debut. The Flock hits the ring to do whatever they did that was close to celebrating, and somewhere in there, Raven threw Stevie out of the ring because that's what he does. Okerlund brings Ric Flair out for a promo. He's talking about Kurt Hennig. He makes a hockey reference. He talks about how he's Eric Lindros, because Lindros played in Philadelphia, and I'm going to hit Kurt Hennig like he's Jaromir Jagr. And the only reason I bring this up, Jaromir Jagr was 25 in 1997. He's still playing. He'll never die.
Dude, Flair would still be playing if he could.
That's probably true.
And he was in his 40s here.
That is probably true.
Keep in mind, in the late 80s, they were trying to get rid of Flair because he's too old.
Yes.
And here it's 97, and Flair's talking about how he's got 13 world titles. And the number actually was higher, but the official number that he ended up with was 16.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Which means he's got 3 more coming.
Yep. He's got at least another decade as a full-timer.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, let's see.
Hall came out.
He said he was going to win World War III. Scott Hall comes out, and this was the point in the show where it started to buffer for me like crazy.
I'll tell you what happened here,
All right.
because I got something to say. First off, he waits forever doing his survey, and then he calls out Larry Zbyszko. He challenges him. Mm-hmm. Scott Hall actually says about Larry Zbyszko, he says, Larry, sit down there in that booth.
Drinking my smoothie distracted Greg.
Not me.
Oh.
All of us, but thank you.
It's a really good smoothie, everyone. It's apple and cherry.
Of all the days to bring a goddamn smoothie over here.
I won't do it again.
So he says, Larry, you just sit your ass there in that booth and you just keep putting yourself over. You and Bruno put yourselves over. And I thought, you know what? Larry Zbyszko puts himself over all the time in the booth. Mm-hmm. But let me tell you one guy who never in history has put himself over. Fucking Bruno Sammartino. Right. Ever. I was appalled. This was a good heel line. He got me. This led to Hall versus Jericho. There's a great moment here, which is so ironic, because Hall is accusing Larry of sitting in the booth and putting himself over. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking, damn it, he's right. Goddamn Larry Zbyszko. So the match starts, and Jericho runs wild with kicks, and he knocks Hall on his ass, and then Jericho just stands there. And he's like, get up! And Larry's like, stay on him! What the fuck are you doing? Get on the guy! And I thought, you know what? He's right. This guy is right for once. Right after I was agreeing wholeheartedly that all he ever does in the booth is put himself over. So Jericho gets the award today. He gets the Super Loco Award for being a complete idiot. Because, in fact, he waited there and he let Scott Hall get up, and Scott Hall immediately cut him off and then beat him up for 20 minutes.
Or 2.
Felt like 20, damn it.
Scott went for the outsider's edge, and Jericho turned it into a small package for the win. Huge upset. And then Hall immediately popped up, didn't react to the loss at all, beat the hell out of Jericho, gave him the edge twice to make sure he didn't actually get over. So this accomplished nothing.
Okay, I gotta ask a question. Did Hall honestly think that he was helping these guys?
He says
impossible.
Now, here's why it's not impossible. If you do it once, then I can understand you're trying to make a point that you'll lay down for somebody and you immediately get your heat back. This is like the third time he's done a job for a random guy and then beat him up afterwards.
Yep.
Nobody gets over. He has to know this, right? Mm-hmm. So why would you do it 3 times?
So you can say that you're laying down for
yes,
people.
He went on.
Because he wasn't doing it to impress Jericho with his good-naturedness, his self-sacrificing. He was doing it to impress Bischoff, who probably was clueless.
Well, one way or the other, this is the third time, and it's so not working now.
No. So the crowd's chanting for Larry. He goes down to confront Hall. He has a contract he wants Hall to sign, I guess, to wrestle Larry. Hall walks out and walks away, and Larry buries him for being a coward.
Called him a chicken, basically.
Yes. Mike Tenay was back for Lucha Libre and the Mexican Luchadors.
This was amazing timing of this segment, by the way.
Oh, we'll get to it. This is all about moves. They were showing moves so quickly, I had to hit pause to get them all written down. This is La Magistral. This is La Tapatia. This is a Gory Special. This is a Frog Splash, a Plancha, a Tope, a Triple Tope, the Hurricane Rana, the Corkscrew Pescado, the Guillotine Leg Drop, Senton Splash, the Acai Moonsault, 450 Splash, the Corkscrew Plancha, and last but not least, Air Hoovy. And that was it. That was it for Lucha Libre and the Mexican Luchadors. They follow this up with the most traditional of all Lucha Libre matches, the Battle Royal.
That's right.
So, I know this is going to sound offensive, but it's what happened. A bunch of Mexicans came out and started fighting.
Did anybody else hear Tim Flowers' voice in your head going, "No bumps in a Battle Royal"?
I do now. They're out there for 3 minutes. Nobody cares. I didn't write down any names. And then out comes the Giant. And as soon as I saw him, I thought, 6 weeks of Lucha Libre and the Mexican Luchadors, and this is the payoff. They're going to kill them all.
Right.
Giant killed them all. Killed the entire division in about a minute. Cut a promo vowing to win World War III, calling out Kevin Nash in particular, says the Battle Royal should come down to just the two of us, and I'll throw you into the crowd and prove I'm the real Giant. 6 weeks of Lucha Libre and the Mexican Luchadors videos to get over the fact that the big guys are better.
Well, to be fair, I think that the Lucha Libre and the Mexican Luchadors was originally designed to get over the mask match at Halloween Havoc. But they had a couple of videos left.
Well, they mistime it.
And they had World War III coming.
Mike Tenay said, I did the voiceovers for this La Magistral and Tapatia. We're making this video, damn it.
You know, say what you will about Tim, but there's a reason that he said no bumps in the Battle Royal.
I understand.
Yeah,
He didn't want anyone to get hurt.
not that way.
He just said it over and over and over.
Well,
in
part
defense-
of the problem,
in defense
Craig,
of Tim-
is he was working with a bunch of fucking
Were
idiots.
you with this crew?
Yes,
you had
I
to
was.
tell him things over and over again.
Okay, you're right.
No, Tim was right on that one.
I just remember he said
It is funny.
How many times they built that ring upside down, he had to come out? Say, turn that goddamn thing over.
Ric Flair versus Alex. I will say, by the way, in WCW's defense, this show pushed the hell out of that Battle Royal.
It's true.
This Battle Royal in one episode of Nitro had a bigger push than Shawn and Brett going into Survivor Series.
It had a bigger push than the last 10 Royal Rumbles put together.
Yes. They're working like mad to get this Battle Royal over. Ric Flair versus Alex Wright.
Craig,
Best match Alex Wright has had.
if you
In
had
a
not
very long
put
time.
this over, I'd been very
No.
angry.
The only thing I had to complain about was Alex Wright's teeny tiny little trunks.
That's his gimmick.
I understand.
Teeny tiny. He's like Marty the Moth. Just
No,
not
he's
so
no.
fat.
No.
Let's talk about
It's a
a great
horrible
Ric Flair
comparison.
is. This guy does a back suplex on the floor, going back and forth.
The best thing is the very first thing that Alex Wright does is chop Ric Flair. This was a mistake.
Well, no, it's what they wanted to do.
I agree.
Here's why this match was great besides the obvious reasons. 90% of Ric Flair matches are great but the same.
Mm-hmm.
The babyface runs wild for 10 minutes. Heel gets 2 minutes of heat, and they do the finish.
Right.
Ric Flair, who was, for God's sake, the babyface in this match, Ric Flair got in there with Alex Wright and had a 50-50 fight. They were going at it, chopping the piss out of each other, cutting each other off, and suplexes on the floor, chopping each other on the floor, going back and forth, fighting and fighting and fighting. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, after this went much longer than you would think, but not longer than it needed to go, Flair hits the delayed vertical suplex, puts on the figure four, Alex taps out for goddamn sure the best match of his career. This was awesome in a very surprising way.
I loved it.
It's very good.
I knew I was right about Alex Wright.
No, you're still wrong.
Actually, I never said he was any good. I just enjoy him. It's funny.
And from that match, we go to Ray Traylor versus Steve McMichael.
Not as good.
All right, listen.
No.
I love Mongo, but this was bad. He looked horrible, and it appears his career is all downhill now that he's no longer with the Horsemen.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Bill Goldberg came out wearing Mongo's ring.
Yeah.
He was wearing Mongo's Super Bowl ring on his pinky.
He's a big feller.
Yeah. Also a football player.
Okay, now, since I know nothing about football, but I know something about wrestling, I'll ask the wrestling question. So was Goldberg a heel?
That's good. Good
That is
question.
a very good question.
Who is the babyface in the Goldberg-Mongo feud? Is Mongo a heel, but I like him so much I just presume
He
he's
is.
a babyface?
I think Mongo is the babyface because his gold-breaking ex-wife stole his Super Bowl ring and gave it to this big bald guy.
Huh.
And the big bald guy is a big jerk who's keeping the ring he didn't earn.
Now, he was in the Horsemen, and the Horsemen are usually heels even though they get cheered. So...
It is a gray area.
All I know is Mongo gets distracted at the end of this match by Goldberg. And he gets hit with the Bubba Slam.
the worst one I've ever seen.
Mongo's bump was so horrible. It looked like he was made of metal.
Yep.
Nothing bent.
That is...
He just walked forward like nothing changed. He was just turned sideways and he was dropped on his back and like got pinned. He's horrible.
When he went to take the bump, you know how you kind of bend your knees and fall back? You remember your Star Wars figures? They didn't have the knee joint.
That's exactly what I'm
And
talking
his
about.
knees and his legs went straight up in the air
Okay,
and took the bump.
you're right about that. It was as bad as you say, but you're remembering it clearly because it was the finish. I think the side slam Mongo hit right before that may have been worse. All I know is this was a match straight out of the early 1980s WWF with two big oafs lumbering into each other, put on 1990s WCW TV.
They were definitely oafs.
He's...
That is a factual statement.
Gene interviewed DDP, who first he bragged about drawing a big pay-per-view audience. Said he's going to win World War III and get a title shot against Hogan. He had a line about where he says, "I'm 6'5" and 250 pounds. I'm not the biggest guy."
Yeah.
I looked this up. The last champion they had, who was definitely taller than 6'5" here in 2016, there's guys like Orton and Sheamus who might be right around 6'5", but the last guy definitely bigger than that was JBL in 2005. Wow, things change.
Got to say that Page was not only a good promo, but he was a believable promo. You believe the guy.
Oh, sure.
Speaking of believable, he made a statement that said Halloween Havoc drew more eyeballs than any other wrestling pay-per-view in history. Brian, you wrote the book. Is that correct?
What match?
Halloween Havoc pay-per-view.
And what did he say?
It drew more eyeballs than any other wrestling pay-per-view.
More eyeballs?
In
Did it
other
get
words,
more viewers than any pay-per-view up to that point?
I'm not sure because all I know is Starrcade beat it. But it may have up to
It's
that
possible.
point.
Okay.
I don't know. He may have been fibbing, but it's a reasonable lie.
Well, I mean, if he's talking about, what was Halloween Havoc?
Age in the Cage.
Okay.
Ray and Eddie.
I'm thinking about, it's a different match. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I know Starrcade beat it, whatever it did.
Okay. Public Enemy versus the Steiners in a street fight.
This was a mess.
Okay, I have a question.
You bet.
Steiners came out wearing the tag team belts. Mm-hmm. Didn't Scott Hall have a belt when he came out earlier?
Steiners are the champions, but they had that bullshit deal where Larry counted, and so I think the outsiders are making their own belts.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what I wanted to say about this match here. This is not WCW's fault because they did not anticipate that in 19 years some fucking geek would be watching their show on an iPhone turned sideways.
Yes! You know, that same thing I was going through.
They did the split screen gimmick because they're brawling all over, and they have to make sure that the giant WCW Monday Nitro logo's on the screen. And so it's not like you take the screen and you cut it in half 50-50.
No.
No. It's maybe 25% for one of the screens and 25% for the other screen. I'm watching it on my iPhone, and it's dark. I had absolutely no idea what was going on, with the exception of the announcers did a very good job telling me that it seemed to be very exciting.
To be fair, even though you were watching it that way, you missed absolutely nothing.
I was told, because I was watching it on the phone as well, because of the buffering, I had to switch to my phone. It worked better there. And I'm looking at two screens, neither of which is more than an inch square.
Seriously, like 2/4.
Yeah, that's how big it was. It's smaller than that, actually. It's like watching two icons on your iPhone. I was told Rocco Rock jumped off the stage or the set or something.
Yep.
I believe that.
Somebody got hit with a beer.
I believe that.
Eventually, they got down to the ring. We got back to one giant screen for about a minute, the last minute of the match. Here's the finish. They set up two tables on the floor, one on top of each other. They put Rick Steiner between the two tables. Mm-hmm. Rocco Rock, I believe, went to the top rope.
Johnny Grunge.
Johnny Grunge goes to the top rope. DiBiase walks over. I don't know if DiBiase was supposed to pull Steiner out of the way or if he was late or if Steiner was confused.
Don't know.
But Johnny Grunge comes off the top and goes to these tables, and Rick Steiner was not all the way out of the way.
Right.
And he comes up bleeding from the neck.
Badly.
This is a bad place to bleed from. It's pouring everywhere. So Rick immediately pins Grunge on the floor. As he's pinning him, he's looking over his brother, making sure his brother is still alive. Mm-hmm. Ref counts 3. Rick gets the hell out of there, stopping to kick Public Enemy several times before on his way out, just in case he died and never got a chance to kick them again.
You might not have seen this, but as they were pulling away with the camera, because they're about to go to commercial right after this match, you see Scott Steiner at ringside losing his mind, throwing chunks of table into the ring and stomping on whoever was below him.
I don't think Public Enemy was long for his WCW at this point.
Welcome to WCW, everybody.
I'm lucky they got out of the match
Let's just
alive.
do a bunch of dangerous shit.
To the Steiners.
Yeah, that's
This is dumb.
asinine.
All right. This was a disaster. Speaking of, for like 2 hours now, we got nothing but World War III hype videos. And I was actually starting to get excited for this match. And you got the World War III hype video. Here's what I saw in this World War III hype video. Tons of split screens. Ron Reese. Road Block. And eventually Giant getting the win.
Cool.
It always sounds cool on paper, and then they deliver, and it's like, this is wretched.
I've been talking for 19 years about how horrible Battle Royals are, and nobody ever listens to me.
And they did it 3 times in one match.
This was the worst. It is literally just doing 3 battle royals at once.
Yeah.
Which is
Can you imagine? 60 guys.
the fact they tried.
The sheer number of geeks in a 60-man Battle Royal is astonishing.
I can forgive them for trying it one time, but it was clearly a failure. But they just kept doing it.
Right.
Let's talk about Michael Buffer. I wrote it down this week, but only one. I wrote down one line because of the way that he said it. Kurt Hennig is coming down to the ring, and Michael Buffer calls him. Or this is what he says about him. This is a quote. He is the self-proclaimed greatest athlete of all in the world.
Yeah. No, Michael Buffer wasn't a very good writer, Brian.
He is the self-proclaimed greatest athlete of all in the world. Why do we have to add in the world?
It does seem overly qualified, doesn't
Why do we have to add of all?
it? Either or would have been fine.
Why do we put it together in this fucking order? No one cares but me.
Has anyone ever done the book that's just Michael Buffer's ring intros?
Oh, man, it'd make millions.
Unfortunately, you have to share it with Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of it with Michael Buffer. Anyway, the main event was Kurt Hennig and Lex Luger. Wasn't much.
Actually, I'll talk about my 2 favorite things. First off, I got to give Luger credit because I've been noticing that nobody gives a shit when Roman Reigns sells because he has no ability to get sympathy. Lex Luger did a good job getting sympathy. Mm-hmm. He had a great, sad face when he was selling, and he really got the people behind him. The other thing is, very early on, they did the old, they're going to go for a reversal, but one of the guys forgets, and so he just lets go and runs backwards into the corner, and it's Luger that runs backwards into the corner. And so Kurt Hennig, the spot got fucked up, so he has to figure out, what the hell am I going to do? So he pauses for a split second. Luger's in the corner. And then he runs at the guy. I guess hoping Lex is going to do something. And sure enough, Lex does. He clotheslines the guy. And Kurt Hennig's natural reaction is to do a fucking flip and land right on his head, right in the corner.
So brutal.
Yeah.
That was the only good thing about the match.
Yeah.
Well, there was a third good thing. When Lex finally made his comeback, as noted, people were into it, and we teased the rack, they all went nuts. Hennig grabbed the ropes and pulled them both to the floor, and then Flair ran in out of nowhere to kill Hennig for the DQ. Flair chased Hennig away. Luger was upset with Flair because he had lost because of him, and they bickered, and that's how the show went off the air.
I'm stunned you did not note the actual finish. Hennig goes for the U.S. title outside. This is after they tumbled outside. And Flair comes and starts chopping the shit out of him. And the bell rings.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So they go back into the ring, and Luger puts him in the rack, and Ric Flair runs and punches Kurt Hennig, who is in the rack,
Right.
and the ref calls for the bell. Now, Mike Tenay cannot just let this go. Mike Tenay has to say, we already heard the bell. Thus revealing that the bell ringer jumped the gun and rang the bell when he wasn't supposed to.
Yes, because the only time you can get disqualified is if the assault happens in the ring.
Well, not necessarily. You should be able to get...
No, that's what we've determined in 1997.
Well, one way or the other, they fucked up the end of this
they
show.
did.
Not a very good Nitro, I gotta say.
So, songs.
You guys ready for this contest?
I am.
All set.
Craig, tell everybody again what the contest is and what they will win.
We're giving away copies of WWE 2K17 on
Hopefully without a patch.
on PlayStation and Xbox, I think, Brian. Is that correct?
It's whatever you want.
okay.
The winner gets to pick.
And so, Brock Lesnar is on the cover of that video game, and I figured the best thing to do would be to have you create songs featuring the Beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar.
Man, this fella here, James, literally just got this entry in. So we have 7. This is James.
12 years, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lot of things I miss in this business. The biggest thing that I miss, I could go to Toronto. Me, my wife, and my son. And I don't care who I have to destroy. And I could see in their eyes I was golden. And I thought to myself, payback time. Maybe I have one last devastating jackhammer in me.
That's the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. That's the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. I'm the beast and the best and the beast and the best in the world. Paul, say something stupid.
No way that's being beaten. James, let me know what video game platform.
Happy you got that in.
Man. We do have 6 more.
We'll see how it goes.
All right. Good luck, everybody else. All right, this here's from Adam. Vince books a match in the key of Bob Dylan.
Oh, Vince is in the basement, trying to book a main event. Brock's in Canada, thinking about USADA. Then he calls Billy up, now he's gotta pay up. If he has any luck, the network number goes up. He's in the game that I wanna play. Goldberg's old, but his video's sold. So let's book it next month. Slow bit to no fun. Vince just wants 3 million subs, maybe in the 90s. But today, Vinny, please. Oh, Vinny, please. I miss the 90s.
That's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
Man, oh man.
That was a great finish.
Man, oh man.
Doing well.
I may have to give away 2.
We're doing well.
That was good. All right, this here's from Otis. Says, I created this a year ago, but not for a contest. Someone did the same for last night's Halloween contest. I'm assuming it's okay for this Craig contest. Here we go.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me, I said. I know don't touch me.
Okay.
That's it.
Hey, good try, Otis.
It works.
That was a good try. I laughed.
It's from Matthew. Here we go.
Craig's dying already.
Brock Lesnar.
You know you make me cry. How can you love me? I don't understand why. Oh,
Brock Lesnar.
if I can make you see, if there's been a fool around, it's got to be me.
Yes, Craig?
What is the next one?
Wow, what a burial.
It started off great.
It's from Michael.
Scotland forever!
What's happening? You lose.
You lose at life.
There was a man screaming Goldberg in the background.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Suddenly the English are justified in just everything.
Pretty good.
That was a great promo Goldberg cut. Did I mention that?
Yeah, he's awesome. I think that's it. Nope. Sam.
In Suplex City, in Suplex City, we rock and roll. Suplex City, in Suplex City, we rock and roll. Brock Lobster. Brock Lobster. I want a Brock and Goldberg fight.
That's pretty good.
Play 2K.
Winner! That's it. I changed my vote to the last one.
What was your original vote?
I don't even know.
The first one,
But
James?
Might have been. But I want a Brock and Goldberg fight and played 2K, whatever he said was fantastic.
That was great.
What about you, Craig?
I know you're going to choose James, which is the first one, so I'm going to go with the second one.
Adam?
Yeah, the one that...
Key of Bob Dylan?
Thank you.
Well, I like James. Craig likes Adam. And Vinny likes Sam. So, you all win. I'm getting
Wow.
all three of you a video game.
Look at that.
That's right. Now, if I can't, figure out one of you is getting the axe. Try and get all three of you the video game. So, James, Adam, and Sam, you are the winners. Contact me, Brian, at WrestlingObserver.com with your name, address, and platform. And I believe 2K will be sending the game to you. Not me. I'm removing myself from the actual mailing aspect of this.
Good idea.
You guys are the winners, so congratulations. Excellent contest, Craig. Good,
Thank you, sir.
Good damn work.
Okay, so because it's a success, it's my fault.
I said good work.
I know.
Yeah.
You don't remember this is a call to callback, Brian.
I don't know if this was as good as Granny's contest, but it was pretty good. All right, everybody, that's it. We're going to wrap it up from here. We'll be back on Thursday. What's today? Thursday with more. And that's it. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Bye.